yes, my job changed because suddenly I went from being a briefer doing internal work to being in what was a public-facing program. I was the man from the ministry. And our key message on UAP was, this is pretty much all misidentification. I think because of the pop culture baggage that's associated with the term UFO.
Right.
That's part of it. But, part of it is maybe the bureaucrats' natural aversion to taking any new work on board, particularly in a subject where you could say, well, look, people have been working away at this for 70, 80 years without resolution because it's still called the UFO mystery. This doesn't sound like something very productive in terms of us suddenly being able to cut through it all and come up with definitive answers. So, but it just illustrates the fact that this was not done on an international basis. Now, to answer the other part of your question, yes, my job changed because suddenly I went from being a briefer doing internal work to being in what was a public-facing program. I mean, people knew that the Ministry of Defense investigated UFOs, and indeed 9 out of 10 of the reports we received, maybe 200 or 300 each year, whatever it was.
Would you ever go on the news and talk about this while you were on this desk? Did people know you at that time at all?
People did know me. It's an interesting question. Normally, the subject matter expert does not go on TV. Normally, the specialist press officers go on TV. Right. But it was felt that the subject of UAP was so complex and labyrinthine in terms of its 80-year or 70-year at the time backstory, say, that they would do an experiment. And instead of having the public affairs folks do the interviews and get briefed by the subject matter experts, they would put the subject matter expert, i.e. me, on TV and give me the media training. So they flipped it. And so, yes, on a couple of occasions, I was the man from the ministry.
So you're a real trained pro on
smartly
this at this point.
dressed, yeah. and I, of course, we joke about it now, but I, of course, was the debunker because it was my job to frame this in terms of nothing to see, move along. We consistently downplayed the true extent of our interest and involvement in this. And so, yeah,
Were you told to do that?
Yes.
Downplay it?
Yes. It was, we were given, and at points in my job, I probably updated them, so had a hand in shaping them, but we had key messages, key lines to take on this, which you would always, whatever you were asked, you would always try and bring it back to those key messages and lines to take, even if it wasn't specifically the question that was asked. So I don't know if you watched the old comedy series Yes Minister.
I did.
Great spoof of British politics. And they have a line in there which is funny because it's so true, where he gets, the main character gets asked an awkward question. And he smiles at the broadcaster and he says, well, that's a very interesting question, but that's not the real issue here. The real issue, and the question on which the British people want an answer is, and then you go straight back to your key message. And our key message on UAP was, this is pretty much all misidentification.
Russian, not Martian.
Russian, not Martian. Well, we didn't want to say Russian either.
Oh, you didn't want to even say that?
No.
I thought this was the popular time to be like, not the Soviets.
No, you don't want the implication that somehow, because that would be an implication that wait a minute, what about all our air defense network? Are you telling us the Russians have snuck a spy plane past our radar systems? We haven't got our quick reaction alert aircraft up to intercept them, and they're flying over, rural Hampshire with nobody having a clue about this? No, absolutely not. So we just framed it in terms of, to the inexperienced observer, bright stars and planets, or aircraft lights, or weather balloons can be, yeah. So
yeah, it was MH370 up there. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. You didn't see anything.
Yeah, nothing to see.